In this video, we look at some timeless Stoic principles that can be applied to money management and investing. When I had started this channel, I had decided that I'll keep my content diverse and bring in things that add value to my life and investing journey. Remember, this video is not just about Stoicism. There are plenty of channels and more important people like Ryan Holiday that you should listen to for more core Stoicism content. This video is more about how some of the Stoic wisdoms can be applied in real life when it comes to money. Even if you don't know much about Stoicism, this video should still be valuable to you and shed some light on both Stoicism and finance. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe. Now let's begin. Let's start with principle 1. Focus on what you can control. The chief task in life is simply this: to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself which are externals not under my control and which have to do with the choices I actually control. This principle basically highlights that when it comes to money, not everything is going to be under your control, similar to how most things are in life. Concentrate on factors you can actually control, such as saving rate, asset allocation, and investing costs. When it comes to simple things like expenses, you cannot always choose to decide what you want to spend the money on. For example, you must spend money on food and housing. However, you can control how much you want to spend on it. What you can really control is your wants. You need to take decisions properly where you want to spend your money. Basically, try to control your urges when it comes to buying every new flashy thing that you come across, and try to keep your expenses as low as possible. When it comes to investing, there are only certain things that you can truly control. For example, you can control which asset you want to buy or what price you want to pay for that asset. What you cannot control is all the external factors. The best example of something you cannot control in investing is macro factors. You can never control when a war is going to break out or what the interest rates are going to be in the market. So when it comes to certain things like macro factors, it should be part of your equation, but remember, you can never really control it. At the end of the day, what you need to do is focus your energy on your own actions and choices and not the uncontrollable. Make rational decisions based on your long-term goals and don't get swayed by short-term fluctuations in the market or short-term events that are happening all around the world. You just really need to learn to let things go. Even in markets, there'll be times when you're going to lose money. Just let it go, forget about it, and move on to the next investment. Focus on the long term, as I had just mentioned. The next principle is live with virtue and wisdom. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. The main lesson here is that you should use money as a tool to live by your values and not as the end goal. I'm not here to tell you that money is not important. In fact, I believe that money is one of the most important things in your life. However, don't make it your life. Again, if you set good and long-term goals in your life, you're not going to make money your end goal. For example, if you're somebody who wants to retire early, let's say at the age of 45, that's a great goal to have and you should work towards it. However, there are people out there who make goals like, I want to make 10, $15 million. The problem with goals like that is that they are never enough. When it comes to life, make decisions that impact your whole life and not just the amount of money you're going to have. There are plenty of other things that you need to focus on which go beyond money. However, money can be a big factor in those. This one's a really complicated one where you really need to understand what your values are and what you're looking for in life. There are also people out there who make making the most amount of money the main goal of their life. And I think that's also totally okay, but most people shouldn't set such goals. Remember, at the end of the day, money is there to serve you and not the other way around. You should not get so attached to money that you forget about everything else in your life that may be even more important. The next principle is having objective judgment. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. This is very closely related to the first principle we looked at, where we talked about letting go of things you cannot control. However, when it comes to objective judgment, there's one thing you should keep in mind. You need to keep your emotions out of money matters and investing. You need to avoid emotional perceptions of investments and the market. This is something that's very important when it comes to investing. Don't let your emotions distract you. Don't get personally attached to your assets. Judge results analytically and impartially and not personally. You should remind yourself that data is king when it comes to investing. Basically, when it comes to money management skills, always focus on facts and reason and not your feelings. There are plenty of people out there I see get really attached to their investment thesis no matter how wrong they are proven. It's just very hard for them to let go of things and move on to the next opportunities, and feelings play a big role in this. The next principle is to prepare for the worst. How ridiculous and how strange to be surprised at anything which happens in life. One of the most important things I've learned from Stoicism in life is to always expect the worst possible thing that can happen to you. I know for a lot of people it might not be the best way to live. However, for me it has really worked out well. I'm always prepared for the worst things that can happen, and more recently it has been keeping me ahead of the curve. Basically, when it comes to money management, expect and prepare for market downturns, job loss, and unexpected expenses. One of the most important things that you should be doing in this scenario is that you should build an emergency fund for resilience against financial shocks. These can come in the form of job losses or even medical emergencies. You should also try to diversify your investments to mitigate losses in any one area. Let's say you're doing these three basic things: having an emergency fund, having some sort of savings, and keeping a diversified portfolio. Now, let's say something bad happens in the market or something bad happens in the world. What's the worst thing that's going to happen to you? Not much, because you have taken the precautions to weather these storms. Basically, if you're always anticipating that something bad's going to happen, even if it does happen, it's not going to sting you as much. The next lesson is to embrace discomfort. But neither a bull nor a noble spirited man comes to be what he is all at once. He must undertake hard winter training and prepare himself and not propel himself rashly into what is not appropriate to him. Embracing discomfort can be taken in many different ways. For this video, I'm going to focus a lot on lifestyle inflation. One of the first things that people do once they start making more money is to start buying more things and level up their lifestyles. They want to get rid of even the tiniest discomforts in life, and that's not the way to live your life. This can actually be very harmful if your lifestyle inflation kicks in very early in life. You might get overly reliant or attached to a luxurious lifestyle. But as we saw in the previous section, sometimes in life things just don't go as planned. If something bad really does happen, you just need to go back to living bare bones without actually sacrificing or suffering. When it comes to lifestyle inflation, the one thing that you should not be doing is playing any kind of status games. I can actually give you one tip or a method you can use to embrace discomfort. What I do is every now and then I spend way lesser money than I actually can. I try to live bare bones just to condition myself for tough financial times through periodic deprivation. It's really not necessary, but it builds toughness and prepares you for bad times. The next principle, also the most important one, is to remember your mortality. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. This is the simplest one. Remember that all of us are going to die one day. It might be tomorrow, it might be 5 years from today, it might be 20 years from today, or even more. It doesn't matter. What you need to remember is that you're going to die one day, and that's the harsh reality of life. The reason this principle is so important is because it brings balance to your money management skills. You have to remind yourself that yes, saving and investing are great things, and you should definitely be doing that, but you should also be spending money to add more meaning to your life. Don't indefinitely put off using your money to live your values. So I'll be very honest with you. There are people in my life who think I'm cheap, but the reality is that I have identified what I want to be spending my money on, and I only spend my money on those things. Sometimes people say that you should only be spending money on experiences and not things, but that's also not true. You can spend money on things if you want to. There are things that can bring you happiness as well. Most of my money goes into savings and investing, but that doesn't stop me from buying books or buying anime figures when I want to. The point is to spend your money on the things that truly matter to you and bring you joy. Whenever I find myself becoming a little too stingy with my money, I always remind myself that I could get hit by a bus tomorrow, so I should also try to live my life as much as possible. At the end of the day, always make financial decisions that remind you of your life's mortality and what truly matters to you. By the way, if you're enjoying the video so far, hit like and consider subscribing to my small channel. I'm really trying hard to grow this channel. It's not been easy and I could really use your support. In return, I promise to bring you consistently better content. The next principle is to love your fate. Fate leads the willing and drags along the reluctant. This principle is all about acceptance. You need to accept the ups and downs in your life, ups and downs in your money situation, and even the ups and downs in your investments. I would say this one especially applies to investing. A lot of people believe that once you put your money into the market, it's going to consistently go up. Over the long run, yes, it does look like that. It continuously goes up, but it doesn't come without the ups and downs of the markets. This also means that you need to accept the fact that sometimes you're going to make bad decisions when it comes to investing. You're going to get into an asset and it might just go down tomorrow. You actually need to find a way to cultivate appreciation for the whole journey and not just the outcomes. Yes, I know it's the classic focus on the journey and not the destination, but it's true. The next principle is to see the big picture. Dwell on the beauty of life, watch the stars and see yourself running with them. This is all about focusing on the long term. This is extremely important when it comes to investing and wealth building. When it comes to investing, you should recognize that the short-term fluctuations are completely insignificant when it comes to lifelong wealth building. So on that note, I want to urge you to not take any rash and quick decisions when it comes to your finances. Consider how your financial choices today will impact your future self and align them with your long-term goals. Again, I've already spoken a lot about this. Your investing journey is going to consist of a lot of ups and downs, and you need to get used to it. One of the easiest way to get used to it is to actually focus on the long term and forget about what happens tomorrow, a week from today, or a month from today. Think about what's going to happen 5, 10, 15 years from today. I've given this example multiple times. Even if somebody is investing just $200 a month over the course of their life, they can actually become a millionaire by the age of 60. And that's a great thing that not a lot of people can achieve, even though it's such a simple concept to grasp. What you need to really do is cut down on the noise that comes from the everyday market movement. The second last principle is to stay persistent. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Again, this principle applies to any form of wealth building and investing. You will never be successful unless you're persistent with what you're doing. Even when it comes to learning about all this, you need to stay persistent and keep learning. Persistent sound habits like discipline, frugality, and long-term focus. View investing as a long-term practice that steadily advances despite setbacks. Let obstacles and challenges hone your investment skills and tenacity. So I don't want to spend more time on staying persistent. You understand it already. You know what to do. Like any other thing in life, if you stay disciplined and keep at it, you will be successful. I promise you that. The last principle is not just about money management, but also about life, that is to find inner peace. True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future, not to amuse ourselves with either hopes or fears, but to rest satisfied with what we have, which is sufficient, for he that is so wants nothing. Now, I'm not going to sit here and give you some lecture about finding your inner peace. You already know that that's something you should do. What I want to focus on is the relationship between money and finding your inner peace. A lot of people might tell you that finding your inner peace has nothing to do with money, but money is going to play an important role in that. There are lots of problems in your life today that come about because of money, and you need to fix those with the help of money before you can go out and find inner peace. If you look at the hierarchy of financial needs, you'll see that this is the most basic thing that you need to take care of before you actually move on to doing other things. Here are actually 3 quick tips that I want to share so that you can find inner peace while managing your money. The first is to cultivate inner calm to weather financial market volatility. You really need to understand that the ups and downs of the markets will continue, and you cannot let your inner peace be destroyed because of that. Again, it brings us back to the long term. The next is to not tie your happiness to investment performance. This is also very important. Don't start looking at the numbers and the percentages and start feeling bad and destroy your inner peace. Try to find the right approach of investing that works for you. For a lot of people, it's actually just investing in the S&P 500 that brings them enough peace and enough returns at the same time. For other people, it might be a little more mix of things. Don't jump into very risky assets without knowing how it's going to make you feel. Maybe your life will take a turn for the worst once you start making those investments. A lot of this happens to people in crypto, by the way. And the third one is to find peace in making reasoned, disciplined money decisions. Honestly, as long as you stick to the other principles, the 10th one can be achieved because of them. At the end of the day, if you keep your emotions at bay, stay focused on the long term, and stay disciplined and persistent with your investments, you're going to come out on top. So those were some of the Stoic principles I wanted to talk about in the context of money. A lot of people believe that being a Stoic means that you have no feelings or something, but that's not it. For me, Stoicism is a lot about staying focused, staying disciplined, and not letting external factors affect you. It just so happens that when you take these principles and apply it to money management and investing, your life and performance improve a lot. That's it for today. Make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you next week in a new video. Till then, keep learning and stay on top of your finances. Until next time.